What's up guys, this is Ryan, back again for another video for the Goers official channel, and today we're going to be reviewing 11/22/63, which stars James Franco, Sarah Gadon, George McKay, and Chris Cooper. This story follows Jake Epping's character as an English teacher in 2016. He's kind of, you don't really learn much about his character in the beginning. Really, you just know he's an English teacher, he's teaching this one guy. The whole show starts off as this kind of old guy. He's a student for Jake, and he's talking about how in 1960 his family was murdered by obviously his dad, and he was the only one of his family left to suffer pretty much. He didn't really get hurt or anything, but he was left, and it's pretty intriguing in the beginning, but you don't really learn much about the beginning guy's character at all, really. You just see him, he vanishes till like the end, and then you learn a little more, and poof, there you go, he's gone. And well, that's when Jake goes to the diner. He goes to this diner all the time. He has a conversation, and he goes back again. He sees Chris Cooper's character, and Chris Cooper's character sends him on an adventure in 1960 to assassinate Lee Harvey Oswald, and he goes on an adventure he will never forget. Now, I was really looking forward to this show. I literally bought a Hulu subscription just to watch this show. I did not have Hulu originally, obviously. And now the question is this worth a Hulu subscription? Yes, when the show is going. Now, this is a TV miniseries, so it's not a show, so it's not going to be like The Walking Dead, where a season will end and then probably another season will come on. This is a TV miniseries. It's based off a book, and well, there's not going to be more. It leaves you wanting more, okay? Characters do meet their arcs, most of them anyways, and you do kind of like the ending, but the ending is kind of not. It's okay. It is pretty emotional, and it leaves off a kind of feeling where I wish I could have known more about more characters. Now, let's just get on to the performances. James Franco's character was dull in the beginning of the show. His performance didn't seem to get that much better as the show went on, and he was kind of dull. He was like, oh my gosh, really? He wasn't doing his 48 Hours, I believe that's the movie name. Gosh, why do I not remember that movie name? Sorry guys. But 48 Hours, 27 Hours, he didn't give that type of performance like he should have. I mean, this is an 8-part series. I guess you could say that he was saving his best for the 8th episode, but you gotta be a believable character through the whole, every single episode. I mean, obviously his character has backstory, pretty much, you know, I mean, kind of. I mean, all you really know about him is that he's an English teacher. You don't really know who his parents are. You don't know any of his family members. You don't know how he became an English teacher. You don't know much about him, but he's an English teacher. You know his birthday and his name. It's pretty much what you know about him, which is kind of stupid for a book written by Stephen King, the guy who brought us The Shining and stuff like that. So, very disappointing on that part, but his performance did really pick up in the 8th episode, the conclusive episode. He did really good in that episode. I did really believe him in that episode. But Sarah Gadon, on the other hand, her performance seemed to be a little better than James Franco's, or even a lot better. You believe her character from the moment you see her, even if her accent that she puts on for the 1960 vibe can be a little off sometimes. She does a really good job of what she's given. It looks like she was really, really intrigued by this character in real life. From the interviews I saw, she really liked this role. She really liked playing it, and she really thought the story was really intriguing, which is really awesome. I mean, considering the other movies she's done, like Dracula Untold. Oh my god, I mean, the movie's okay, but it's not, it has a lot of problems. But, movies like Enemy, really, she's really good in that. And this, she really shows what she can do. I bet she has more full range acting, but she does really good for what she's given in this. And, in my opinion, you really cared for her, and understand the way she acted because of her past, pretty much. Her past was, not really given. Again, her family, you don't really know about. You don't really know about much, but that she's a love interest for Jake. She's married to this T.R. Knight's character, and that they have a pretty good marriage in the beginning when Jake first meets her in this first episode, I believe. And what was I saying? You really care for her. You really care for her. When Jake first meets her, it's pretty cool. It's kind of generic how he meets her, but it's kind of realistic too. Not necessarily, but you do care for her character. I believe her performance really helps with that too, obviously. And because towards the end, something happens to her character and it really makes you emotional and everything. So you really care for her character. You really want her to go back to the future with Jake after they can hopefully stop the assassination of JFK. I'm going to try not to spoil anything for you guys, because if you guys haven't watched the show yet and you're planning on it, I don't want to ruin anything for you guys. So we'll try and stay away for spoilers for now. If it slips out, sorry. I'll try and edit through it. But yeah, she was good, and but even in some parts though, her acting can get a little it's okay, but overall she did really good. This show really puts her on the map for other directors to look at her for movies and other directors for TV shows to do pretty well. Now, George McKay, he's really mean in this. They have to make a whole bunch of lies about when James Franco gets his characters. He's pretty much in the show because he finds the piece of paper that says JFK assassinated, and it's in the past before 1963 in November. So obviously, on the 22nd of November. So obviously, that's the only reason he has to go. I think it's kind of weird how he just finds the paper and goes up to him, finds him, and he's like, "Hey, what's this?" And then he points a gun at him, and he's just like, "Tell me about the future and everything." And he's like, "How are you from the future and everything?" And he kind of shoehorns himself into the story when you don't really want him to be in the story. You just want Jake to be there. But he adds pretty good scenes with Jake. So, I mean, he is pretty good. Don't get me wrong. I haven't saw George McKay in anything, though. So, being a first-time guy I've watched, he did kind of sell his performance for me. But he could have been better. He showed a really good dynamic of his acting in this show, though, from how loving he was and everything like that. But you can notice his acting a bit in some scenes. So, but he does do a good job with the character he has. He shows off that he can play a mean character, but also a loving character when it comes to Lucy Fry's character. So overall, good performance. Now, last main character, Chris Cooper. You should know him from a lot of movies. Oh my gosh. I don't want to list all those off, but he's in a good amount of movies, and he's pretty much he's the one who starts Jake's character off in the first place. So he does a good job with the character he plays, being the character that was originally supposed to be the one to try and kill Lee Harvey Oswald before his illness, which I believe is cancer, and his sickness prevents him from doing that, and also his oldness. He's just really old when you find his character, and I feel that the story didn't give him enough time. It is 8 episodes, so I wish it was more. If it was more, you could have got more time to learn about his character. I mean, there is here and there scenes where he's a fake guy. Like, say there's a random civilian guy, and they replace him with one of the main guys talking to him, and he's like, oh my god, he's having that freak out moment, one of those scenes. Or he's just one of those scenes that kind of messes up the pacing, where he's talking about, like, you have to do this, you have to do that, and all that, and he kind of throws out expedition pretty much in those kind of scenes. It isn't really that great sometimes. It does screw up the pacing, like I said, but but it's not really spoiling anything, because I bet a lot of people have heard about the first episode by now. It's been going on for 8 weeks, but his character does die in the first episode, and that leaves you wanting to know more about his character. You want to learn, why does he want to kill Lee Harvey Oswald? Why does he think JFK is going to be a great president? Why does he think the way he does? But it doesn't give you enough time to learn about that, because they kill him off in the first episode, and they only give him these little segments to talk to Jake in the future while he's in the past. So it wants you want more, okay, and it just sucks because he's such a good actor. He's an Oscar winner, so they could have done better, okay? Or Stephen King could have written more about his character. Maybe it was better in the book, but here it just he does sell his performance, but you just wish you could know more about him. But overall, good performance. Now let's move on to some other characters. Here's a flaw I had. There is missing parts to some characters. They never got enough screen time. Like Josh Duhamel or T.R. Knight's character. Josh Duhamel, as you've seen him, he's kind of main in some of the trailers. And he's in literally like one episode. Well, by one episode, if you go on IMDb, it will say more than one episode. But by one episode, I mean like that's where he's like really main. The rest of the parts and the whole thing, he's just kind of there. Like Jake bumps into a person, he sees Josh Duhamel, and then that person just changes into a regular civilian or something. He sees these visions or something like that, or so yeah. So I mean, Josh Duhamel, he did good. You really wanted to know more about his character, from how menacing he was and how mean he was. You wanted to know why he was like that. You wanted to know some of his past and about even his shop. I mean, his shop isn't really that interesting, but it's pretty cool in how it is, and you just want to know the way he acts and how and everything like that. And but they really cut short his backstory from only having 8 episodes. They could have done more, though. I don't think Stephen King, when he wrote the book, had any idea that people would think his character is good, but he's such a this side story that is thrown in there where Jake wants to go back, and from the guy in the beginning I was talking about, the old man, how he tells the story of how he was his whole family was killed. This side story is so interesting. When he goes to that city, he wants to save the whole family from Josh Duhamel. It's so intriguing, but they don't give the family that much time on screen for you to really get yourself immersed into that side story, which is kind of thrown off to the side after something happens. Now I bet you could already guess from him only being in 1 episode, Josh Duhamel's character does die. From Jake, James Franco does kill his character, and you just want to know more. You just really want to know more. And yeah, but T.R. Knight, he's kind of a tingly little guy in the story. He's like, Sadie is my wife, and he's just this guy thrown in there for the sake of putting trouble up for Jake and keeping the whole show 8 episodes. I mean, he's okay, but he's okay from what he's given. You don't really know much about him besides that he's Sadie's husband and he won't give her a divorce, and that you only know about like 1 or 3 things about his past. That's about it, and it leaves you disappointed because you're so intrigued by his character, but you don't get to know more because he's obviously killed. But how about the story? How did Stephen King do with this? Well, Stephen King, he's a masterful writer who's, like I said, brought us The Shining and stuff like that, and Pet Sematary, and this is not his best story. It's intriguing, don't get me wrong, it's cool and everything, and I love the concept of the story. It seems amazing, but he leaves out a lot of characters, like I said. Some of the storytelling could be mismatched, and the pacing in the story can be messed up, and some of these characters you just don't know enough about. So, I mean, he does a good job in some areas, like some scenes that are written are really different and really intriguing. He does a good job of making them kind of scary, like he's really good at with like Pet Sematary or The Shining. But there is some flaws of his storytelling, so that does really downgrade for me anyways. And how about next, the directing? Now, the directing from a first-time director. Who was this director? I don't even remember his name. 1 minute. Okay. Alright, guys, I'm back. So, it was directed by James Strong, even though on the page it says that There's so many people that's done this. Let me read this off. Fred Troy. I don't know. Toy. It has an E at the end. It's Toye. Toy. I don't know. He's directed 2 episodes. John David Cole's directed 1. James Franco directed 1. James Kent directed 1. Kevin McDonald directed 1. James Strong directed 2. So I don't know where they're going. They do say in the show when it has that intro, dun 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 dun, it has James Strong's as the director at the end. So I mean, if he's the director most of the time, you can really but I guess from all these directors you can kind of notice how it's differing. And the only problem I have with directing is some scenes will go from like 2016 looking to like 2001. It will just differ. It'll go from like 1080p quality down to like 260p or something like that. It is really bad. And it's kind of funny. I was like, oh my gosh, watching the show sometimes, and it really caught me off guard. And I guess you can notice a difference between how directing is, but I don't know any of these directors besides James Franco, and I haven't saw him direct anything. So, yeah. that's he did okay. He did good. Some of the shots are masterful. Okay, they look great. The light that looms in, how he sets up the 50s. The 50s looks better than ever in this show. It makes you want to live in the 50s, especially how the first episodes tells you how the 50s is. The 50s. Why am I saying the 50s? The 60s. It shows you the 60s and everything, and it shows you how clean and amazing it was. It makes you want to live in the 60s, which is cool and awesome. They really direct it well, even though there is scenes, like I said, that differ in quality. And yeah, the directing was overall solid, but it has some problems. But let's talk about lighting. Lighting was great. Cinematography was good. So yeah, I mean, and the 8 episodes, they do have their own interesting story to them each. And when each episode ends, you just want more. Like when an episode would end, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I gotta wait a week, and then that week would just like fly by, and then I'd be watching the next episode. I honestly stayed up till midnight each Sunday because they would have the episodes be unlocked on Hulu for you can watch them right when they came out at midnight, and it was awesome. I loved doing that. It was a really intriguing show. Does it sell Hulu subscriptions? Yes, if it's going, like I said, but you don't have to go out and buy a Hulu subscription right now to watch this. Unless you really, really, really want to watch it and see this interesting concept, go out and do it. I'm not telling you not to. It's good. It's probably worth, you can probably just pay for like the $12 subscription, I believe. That's what it is. You can just pay for it for 1 month and cancel it, or you can just watch the show. So, yeah. Also, just to mention, Bridget Carpenter was the person who developed it for the television. I haven't read the book, so I can't tell you if she did a good job porting it over from the book. I said porting. Oh my gosh, #gamer. But yes, I don't know about that, but the show overall was pretty good. Has an interesting concept. The performances were really pretty good overall, but some characters were not fleshed out enough, and the directing was pretty good, but had some flaws, and also some cinematography and all that was great. And yeah, the story had some flaws and openings, but it was still overall a good story told by Stephen King. So I know this video has run really long, but it is an 8-episode show, so obviously it's gonna take a little longer. But guys, 11, I don't know, let's think about this. I'm gonna give 11/22/63 a B-. So guys, have you saw 11/22/63? If so, leave a comment, tell me what you think about it, and make sure to subscribe if you're new, like the video if you liked it, and leave feedback, and tell me if I did a good job with this. If I did a good job with this review, I will do more reviews, hopefully. This video is gonna take like 5 years to edit, but it's gonna be awesome. Hopefully you guys like this video. Well, I hope you guys have a movie-filled and TV miniseries-filled day, and I will talk to you guys later. Now, if you don't know, me and Michael haven't been really talking lately. He did make that Toys R Us vlog I didn't know about. He hasn't told me about it. He just has been kind of pushing me away lately. Hasn't been letting me talk to him or anything like that. He's just had his mind all on this girl, and this girl's been like making him alienate everyone. But personal stuff, we'll not talk about that. I will talk to you guys in the next video. See you guys later. Stay awesome.